Alright, it's Saturday, kind of after lunch. I had to go to work this morning. You know, stuff happens. Before you know it, the day's half gone. But anyways, somebody put a sticker on the back of this cab. You know, you can go buy a sticker just like that. I think they're like $2. Plus, alright, so we got that thing primed last weekend, which is good. All I got left to do is a little something I forgot to weld on the bottom side underneath. I may or may not work on that today. And we got to clean up and do a little POR 15 work. But I'm going to try to find a sandblaster locally to take the rest of my body parts and have them sandblasted, because I hate sandblasting. I'd rather have my butt kicked than sandblast. That's the truth. So I'm going to do that, and then maybe I'll do all the POR 15 work at one time, because that stuff kind of dries up in a can. Today, I think we're going to put the transmission back in the truck. I got some parts. We need to start working on some mechanical things on this. Like I still got to run the brake lines and figure out the hydro boost lines and figure out the clutch. So we're going to get busy on some of that stuff. And also I got to clean up my mess from the bodywork endeavors. Here's a sneak peek on an upcoming video. I'm going against almost everybody's advice. But hey man, that's how I roll. Right, bud?
Right.
I got some extensions made here. And I'm going to weld them. Something like so. I got some beveling and grinding to do. And then this little bolt right here goes in there to make sure you don't pull your extension out too far. I'm going to duplicate that right there. Looks like I might even get myself a new bolt since that one's a little buggered up. And I'm going to weld that in there real good. And I think I'll be okay. I'm going to do that times 4. 4. Shut the door. I'm going to do it times 4. Should I turn the camera off now?
Probably.
Okay. But we don't got time to talk or think or plan about that, do we? We got to put that transmission back over here. One fellow commented, that transmission looks like it's an aluminum case. I don't think a 46 Ford would have had that. And he's absolutely correct, because this is a 96 Ford F350 chassis. Rear end, engine, transmission, and all. And it's got some 46 Ford stuff grafted in, like this really cool parking brake. It's got some Chevy trucks power brake system. It's escaping me what that's called. Hydro boost. Chevy truck hydro boost. It's got an old Ford car air cleaner that won't function but looks cool. Might be a good place to hide some wiring. Or books that cheer us up. That make us smile. Alright, we've installed the clutch and the pressure plate. We installed a new throwout bearing. I greased the pivot points and it all looks good. Shouldn't nothing be broke anytime soon. So now we're going to put stab that transmission in there. How about that? How about that?
Alright.
I was watching a Jonathan W video the other day. He said he loses his camera all the time. I do too. What am I always saying? Where's my camera?
Yeah.
Anyways. That transmission slipped in there just as pretty as you please. And I just eyeballed the clutch disc. So it is possible. Trick was lining up. It's got this handy little hole here so you can stick a flashlight in, make sure you're aimed in just right. And then you put it in gear, turn the output yoke just a little bit to line up the splines in the clutch, and then in she went. Pretty as you please. Right, bud?
Right.
Put a little bit more on them, just a little bub up. Okay, now the other one. Alright, now you can come up and tighten up these saddle bolts on the yoke. I ain't seen you move that fast all day. What happened? Are you getting hungry? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Never eat shredded wheat.
Makes good syrup.
Here's the fine ratcheting mechanism in that old ratchet.
Yeah.
Doesn't it just sound pleasant?
Yeah.
It's a SK. Now she lost her screwdriver!
I got it.
Now my battery's going dead!
Yes, I gotta undo this mess over here.
What happened? You welded it to the table?
Crud cakes.
You know, maybe you move this. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's 3 hours later, and he's on the last bolt. Just kidding. It's not 3 hours later.
That's worse, babe.
What?
That's worse.
It's because the material is dirty. But we'll try that. Anyways, what do you call me babe for? I'm not no babe. I ain't no Babe Ruth.
No, you're not Babe Ruth.
I am an ox though. Maybe that's appropriate. Got her done? You want me to check and make sure they're tight?
Sure.
Good. I'll do it. You know, I was talking about sponsors the other day. I could use a sponsor from Canon so they send me some batteries. I just took this battery off the charger and it's dead. You know, that's the new mantra. Don't work for what you want. Have somebody give it to you. This camera I have been using since I started making YouTube videos some years back. And it is a Canon, what is this thing? PowerShot SX40 HS. It works great. I love it. But I need some batteries. Alright, now we got the transmission back in it. Everything's bolted up. And now I've got to start thinking about this here other stuff. One is I'm going to need a clutch. I have not figured that out yet. Now if you watch the old videos, you'll remember I got a bearing in here, 2 pillow block bearings and a shaft, and my idea was to make a thing here and have a bell crank under there and work the clutch master right there, but the more I think of it, you know, that was a good idea, but it didn't seem to work out that good. I think I'm going to move the clutch master up here and push on it instead of trying to do a bunch of fancy business that an engineer ought to be doing. And I don't know if I ever told y'all, but I didn't ever go to college. I'm really not that bright. But I've managed. Alright, so what we got to do here now is I've got to run the lines for the Hydro Boost. I got to figure out how to adapt it to the Ford power steering pump. And that shouldn't be that big of a deal, really. What else I got to do? Oh, I got to run the brake lines. There's my master. I have forgotten what that was for. I don't remember. And here's the old brake lines that I need to get hooked up there. So as soon as I figure out which one I'm going to tackle first, I'm going to get on it. What say you?
I'm just gonna do what you tell me.
That's a safe answer. But it isn't going to work that way forever.
Yeah.
Sometime you got to be the man. Alright. He took my old apparatus out of here. And that's a pretty nifty thing, but I don't think it's going to be what we need here. So now he's going to take the clutch master out, and we're going to see about coming up with something better. And I believe we're going to have to let some smoke out of here. How are you making out there?
Well, I've been turning it for quite some time till I figured out.
Until you figured out there was a bolt on the backside?
Yeah.
I remember learning those lessons. You know a lesson I remember real good when I was about your age?
What?
My dad had an International 4-wheel drive truck with a 345 engine in it, and the starter went bad. And he had an old starter that he wanted me to put in it while he was at work. He always gave me projects while he was at work. And there's one bolt on that starter that you had to turn it and flip the wrench, and turn it and flip the wrench, and turn it and flip the wrench, and turn it and then flip the wrench. You want me to keep going? You had to do that forever because there wasn't no other way to get that bolt out. I remember that clear as day. And then I did that a couple times, dropped the wrench. We got to keep letting our air condition out and the smoke. But here's what I did. I'm going to put that bolt there. I'm going to put the master on this side. And now I've got to make a bracket to hold the master. And I kind of got it sketched out there and got my holes laid out. And we're going to drill them right now. Ain't we, pal?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it then. Easier to pull down. There you go. Now do the other end. That's 2 holes. Alright, let's turn it off and see how we did. Alright. We're going to use our plasma cutter and cut out that little slot and maybe round it up a little bit there and a little bit there. I'm not going to do too much making it look pretty until I make sure it fits. You never know what you might need. If you're cutting off too much, you have to weld it back on. Right? We're having to heat this up one more time and bend it the other way because we bent it the wrong way. But one thing about it, we're getting plenty of practice. Alright. Now, how many cameramen have you seen run the hammer while they're running the camera?
Not many.
Too many. Alright, here's the idea. Whoops. Things are falling apart on me here. The idea is, oh, doggone it. That stays something like so. And then this welds in there and holds that bracket for the master. And then we'll have to make a bracket for the bottom. And hopefully all this redneck engineering will come to fruition. Let's see. Where that camera at? That's what I've been saying. Alright, I think we got something here that's gonna work. Let me see if I can do it one-handed. It's kind of MacGyvered up and just tack welded and got a pair of vice grips holding the clamp in the back, but if you'll look here, you'll see it makes the clutch work. Obviously, I gotta firm up my brackets. Alright, I got everything tacked together and a bracket made. I need to do a little bit of tidying on it to make it more pretty. But I think that's going to work out. So I'm going to pull it back out. I'm going to finish welding it. I'm going to trim it where I need trimming it. And I'm going to turn it over to the new small part painter and have him to paint it up. Right, bud?
Right.
And that's another thing. We got to pretty soon go purchase some more materials. We're getting ready to spend some money on this thing. I hope you got some.
Not much.
Not much. I had to pay him $1 the other day to tell somebody something. That means I'm broke and he's got $1. There, I guess I won't be winning no trophies for the beauty of my bracket, will I?
Well, maybe when I get done painting it.
Excuse me. Do what?
Maybe when I get done painting it.
Well, that'll help it. But it ain't gonna fix it. You know what they say? A little Bondo and a little paint makes me the body man I ain't. Alright, that's about it for this video today. But I just want to point out a couple things. I was just telling a young man how I learned stuff growing up. Here's something else I learned. I used to have a 1971 yellow Firebird, and I bought that car. It was a great deal. It's 4-speed, 400. It was the predecessor to my red one. And somebody had started installing headers, and the headers weren't right for a 4-speed. Wouldn't clear the clutch linkage. So I kind of felt stymied, and I didn't work on that car for, I don't know, more than a year probably. And a buddy of mine got Milky One, got a Camaro, started working on it, so I got the itch again. I had the clutch linkage modified and driving the car, and the headers bolted on in an hour and a half. It was just something in my head stopping me. Now this vehicle right here, I kind of stopped because I didn't have the clutch linkage figured out. I had this complicated idea that didn't work out that good. And I waited too many years, and I just whipped this up this afternoon. So I guess the moral to the story is, don't let little dilemmas slow you up. Just get going. Just do it. Just get up off your butt and go do it. You ain't never heard me say that before, have you?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, since he's painting, I'm going to ring the bell. I'm tired. Probably going to have to cook. Don't forget to go to MrHeavyChevy.com, where we don't ring the bell, if that annoys you. And please, hit the like button. Only like 8% of you do that. I did the math the other day. Only 8% hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to. Probably if you're watching this, you're subscribed. But if you like it, you know, tell your friends. I need to buy some more paint cans. And welding wire. And some other stuff. Quite a lot of stuff, probably. Alright, I'm going to quit talking now. See you on the next one.